Okay, this is a parcel box. It's about, the interior dimensions are about 18 by 18 by 21 inches. Standard steel box. It's a safe from McDonald's. The door was defective, so I had to fix the door. It took about 8 hours of labor. Paint is currently drying. I had to weld this together, and if I open that up, there's a bunch wrong with that door. That's why they threw it out. So this is a free box to begin with. I covered it in aluminum. This is a stainless label. It's going to be mounted on the ground, so this will be pretty visible. It'll be right next to the front door, so they can read the unit number of packages. Please lock. This hardware is stainless, as is that. It came from a scrapyard. I just welded it all on here. Oh boy, looks like I gotta touch up my paint job. So this is for the lock to go through. It'll accommodate most size padlocks. And this is for if they get a stainless chain. I don't have any stainless chain, so I'm not going to bother with it. But if they get a stainless chain, then there's a way to run the chain through here and then bolt it onto the lock, so that any thieves who want to steal the lock are going to have a tool set with them, making it pretty much impossible for them to steal the lock. I'm going with padlocks because A, they're cheap, B, if you really need to replace the lock, I mean, breaking into a safe is a real bitch, and then fixing it up afterward, no thanks. So padlock makes it easy to do that. It comes pre-drilled with 4 bolt holes. It's only 1/4-inch plate steel, so it's not like super strong, but it's stronger than pretty much anything else you're going to find. 3 of the hours of labor were just removing this shelf. There was a center shelf. Boy, was that a biznatch. And it was a digital safe, so I could make money by selling the contents, which are going for about, I guess, $200 profit. So the front two, the place it's going to go, there's concrete up to about here, and then I can pour fresh concrete in there and just put some J-bolts, so I don't have to drill those. But these two I'll have to drill. So I put the safe in place, mark the 2 spots, and then take the safe off, drill them, put the safe back, hammer the red heads, and there will be fresh concrete there, and just dip the other bolts into the mix. Aluminum stainless, so it should last quite a long time and not look too ugly. This paint will disappear maybe at the time I'm dead, really. It's automotive paint. This aluminum coil stock was originally for car doors. So I guess I was hoping it would turn gray, because I like the look of gray a lot better than white. But the trim color on the house was white, so not too much of a problem. I guess I should wash that off or something. Cosmetics are not my strong point. Now the safe door wants to come off. You can, if this lip wasn't here, a person could easily just lift the door off if it was unlocked, and then it would take the door out of the hinges, and then they'd be like, "Aha, you can no longer lock your packages." But with this little aluminum bracket here, and with that there, it will do pretty well to discourage people from taking out the door if they know how these safes work. And if they do know how these safes work, then the chances are that they'll have a job, they'll be employable, and they don't want to mess around with stealing people's stuff and lifting an 80, 90-pound door. Originally, there were latches on top and bottom. I greased up the door with bearing grease to help prevent the problems that were occurring in there due to friction. Because I used a soft metal bushing that was so easy to operate compared to what it was. and McDonald's tore it out because it had a defective door. What happened is they've got these bearings in here that are deteriorated, if not gone. This is supposed to be a sleeve that goes over the pin here and protects it entirely from the edge of this hardened steel member, but that's a lot harder than this stuff. So really they should have used polished materials of similar hardness, like stainless steel would work hardened, that would be fine, but they use this shit, I guess it's brass, I don't know. And consequently it got wobbly, and this piece on the bottom here, this is just a reinforcement plate. This one gets loose, and when it goes back in, it can lock in odd directions and it'll like keep it from closing. So, I mean, McDonald's couldn't have that, so they had to replace the safe. So that was the defect here, is just the door design and using the wrong materials. This was built in, I believe, 2002. So it really hasn't had too many open and close cycles. I mean, maybe it's open and closed 4 times a day, so that's 1,000 times a year. So maybe that's 20,000 times the safe was opened, or less, or more. Who knows? Something around there. But it's pretty ridiculous. Shouldn't wear out like that. But it'll make a good mailbox for packages. So this 100-foot length coil of .035 wall 316L stainless steel was $50 shipped on eBay, and it's pretty much the same diameter as the brass or whatever the hell they have. And a stainless washer. It doesn't take much. So by the time I'm recording this, it's been about a week since I installed that box, and I've been thinking about, well, what you guys probably want to know, and what's the perfect package box? That is not it, because the perfect package box needs a hopper system. It needs an always available insertable portion of the box, so that they can just always drop a package in there, package after package after package. So in order for that to happen, you're going to have to use like a large safe. And they make gun safes that are easily this big. This is a heater cabinet for like baking goods or whatever. In fact, I have one outside right now. That I bought for $100, and the reason I was able to get it that cheap is that somebody had to cut a hole in the side of it in order to like break into their own safe after somebody had tried to break into the safe and just broken the lock. So for that $100, you get an 800-pound safe, which is a lot of weight. I mean, that's hard to move and hard to install, and I'm not going to turn it into a package box because I'm already in the process of turning it into an exterior water heater cabinet that is anchored to the ground and is seismically independent of the building. You'll probably want to find a box like that. They're hard to get. I see there's a cash box on Craigslist, a huge box that could easily be converted into something like that. It's $500. I mean, you're looking at a lot of money when you're talking about a safe most of the time. But I did find a giant box for $100, and you'd have to build a hopper system. I don't think I may or may not ever do that project. If I do, then I'll put a link down in the description box, but it's just a lot of work. What I didn't do, because I didn't have stainless chain at the time, you saw that nut that I welded onto the side that's to hold the chain that holds the lock. I wanted to show you how to install a chain and lock. I bought a chain. I spent $20 for 4 feet of stainless anchor chain. This is 3/16 inch. The inch rating is like the thickness of the chain, and this is .7 inches across, which barely does not fit through here. So if I hammered down on one of these, on the links that I want to stick through it, then I could easily do that. And then I could hammer enough links and get it through. Or I could buy a 3/4 inch nut. I thought this was 3/4, it's 5/8, so I bought the wrong size chain. So the next size down in US imperial units, 5/16. They make 5/16 inch chain, which is pretty tough to pulling, but anybody with a pair of bolt cutters who wants to cut off your lock can do so. Anyway, so you put it through your nut, and then I'm not sure if I have one in the garage, but it looks kind of like this. It's meant for clamping cables, but it's got 2 threaded portions, and you put there's a flat bar that goes in there, and you put nuts on it. And if you get the right size, you get a nice thick one. You crank it down over the lock, and then you double nut it so that it's just harder to take off the nuts. And you know, somebody can steal your lock if you want. So this system I'm talking about is only going to really work for somebody who is okay with just having one package carrier put their boxes in and then shutting it and locking it and coming home and picking up those boxes. And everybody else, well, I guess puts the box on the doorstep or whatever. And I have seen some hopper package boxes on YouTube here. Now, a lot of those YouTube parcel boxes use locks like this. The multi-unit mailbox that I built uses individual door locks like this. They're cute, they're easy to change out, but if you take a screwdriver, admittedly a pretty big one here, and you pry on that door, and if that door is strong enough to not bend, then the force is going to actually transfer to the lock, and the lock will snap. They are flimsy locks, because there isn't a whole lot of metal holding it together. So a determined thief will get in. So beware of boxes that use that if you're really serious about your package security.